Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have with me Dr. Supraja, Dr. Sue Suresh. So Dr. Sue is a medical doctor and a life coach, having spent more than a decade treating children and adults with physical ailments. She is fascinated by the prowess of the human mind. Dr. Sue is highly trained and much sought after mentor and coach in the field of habit strategy and motivational psychology. We're going to talk, though, today about finding an authentic way of life. I think if anything that the pandemic brought about was people started to question their purpose and how they were living, and was it authentic? And so I think this is a very timely time to discuss this, and I am excited to welcome Dr. Sue to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here, Victoria. I am a fan of amazing podcast. I was listening a few days ago to the video that you had with Elona about leadership. And last evening when I was driving back from work, I was listening about the importance of vitamin D that you spoke with David. Such interesting podcast. I mean, I think the diversity of people that you bring to your show is so special, and it's highly beneficial to everyone who listens to it. And I'm so glad that I'm here to share my story.
Thank you so much. You know, it is really your gift to me always, because I learn every day, 6 to 10 times a week, something new. And I think that's one of the secrets to being confident and also young, is that we constantly learn. And it doesn't have to be just a book. I think that this is one of the best things about podcasting is you have 30 minutes of enrichment every time you listen to one of the podcasts.
Absolutely. No, definitely. That's a wonderful way of putting it. No, thank you.
So we always start out with an easy question, and that is, tell everybody, where do you live? Where do you call home?
Beautiful. I'd love that we're starting off with that. So I call Sydney, Australia, my home. For the last 5 years, I moved here from India about 5 years ago, and I'm currently working as a medical doctor here in one of the public hospitals in South Sydney. And I'm blessed to have the opportunity to treat so many people. And I was working through the pandemic, and like you said, during pandemic, I think almost everyone all around the world were affected either directly or indirectly, and more so in the healthcare sort of atmosphere. And this I think made a lot of people just go inward to actually question a lot of our life direction, life values, and I was one of them. And this is how my change came about in my own personal and professional journey. And because I was trained as a pediatric doctor overseas, back in my home country in India, and I was working as a pediatric doctor in Sydney. But there was always a sort of a question mark in my mind with regards to, am I doing the right thing? And I always kept pushing through it, thinking that, the overworking and making sure that and not listening, not giving myself time to listen to those sort of doubts that I had, and that really pushed me to almost to the point of burnout, to the brink
Mhm.
of mental and physical collapse. And I think life is such a powerful teacher in that, if we actually don't take time to stop and think about,
Mhm.
our
That's right.
life direction, it actually gives us lessons, sometimes hard lessons. And for me, it
Mm.
was in having to undergo an emergency health surgery, which in hindsight could have been avoided if I had taken better care of myself physically and mentally. But on that day, I remember calling into work and saying that I was rostered on to work in the pediatric emergency department, and I had to call into the emergency and say that I'm sorry, I can't work today because I'm gonna have to present as a patient today to ED because I feel so unwell. And my at that time at triage, they noted that my blood pressure was really low, very fast heart rate. They were even
Oh.
very surprised that I was even standing and I was able to talk to them about what my symptoms were. And I had to undergo an emergency surgery, abdominal surgery at night around midnight because my hemoglobin level dropped, and
Mm.
I had to take a week off sick. And that time was the first time, I think, Victoria, that I actually had time to sit by myself. And I was in bed. I couldn't distract myself with anything else, with work especially that I used to always. I mean, I was always used to doing. And
Mhm.
I had to force myself to be with my thoughts and see where I was and where I wanted to go. And I realized that pushing myself to the brink of overworking, of stressing myself out, was just that meant that I was actually not dealing with actually what actually needed to be dealt with. And I had to, over time, gradually, in the next coming weeks and months, had to make a difficult career choice, in that I realized that my true passion didn't lie with pediatric medicine. As much as I loved treating children, that I didn't think that, watching them through the illness didn't give me much joy. It actually broke my heart in many ways.
Yeah.
Uh, and So I changed my career, getting a dual specialization now in rehabilitation medicine, where it's about physical treatment and therapy to patients post debilitating strokes, post having amputations. And I feel that is my calling. And at the same time, I trained with hypnotherapy, with life coaching, because this is when I had to take help with by a coach. And I had to take therapy
Mm.
and actually go within and find out what I really wanted to do in my life. And this is why it helped me so much, and that I could not share it with the rest of the world and not
Mhm.
train in this myself. And I'm certified as a life coach, as a hypnotherapist, and I'm having wonderful clients now who I help, through their life journey. And so that we can become mindful, so
Yeah.
that we don't have to wait for the painful moment in our life to actually stop us in our tracks, and we can be insightful and start sort of asking the right questions towards leading an authentic life before life stops us in our tracks. I think we can, there's a beautiful quote in that: we can change through insight or through pain, through Kensho or Satori. It's sustainable in a way. It makes life more pleasant if we change through insight rather than through pain. And
Yeah.
this has been my life goal and my life mission, to encourage all of us to be more insightful and reflective of our own life journey, so that we change through insight and reflection.
And I think, you know, one of the things that comes to mind as I'm listening to you and knowing that you used to work with children, I often coach kids, middle school, high schoolers, in being able to be more confident speakers. And
Mm.
and then obviously, I've worked with adults as well in speaking as well as coaching leadership. And what I found, and this is for you parents out there, especially with the folks in the Asian Indian culture, they're very, very, I don't know if demanding is the right word, but very, very driven to have their
Mm.
kids seek the doctors, the very prestigious careers and excellence and everything. And what I find, it puts a lot of stress on those kids for being kids. They I think they start to develop the things that keep them from finding their authentic self, and maybe some of the things that you were feeling. And is I try to work with my kids so that they have fun in learning to be confident and know that if they mess up, if they screw up, it's a lesson and it's okay that they did that. And I think adults need to realize that too, and have that reflection of, am I doing what I really want to do, or am I just trying to please somebody else?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful way that you put it. You're right. I mean, with a lot of different cultures, there's a lot of drive, a lot of rigidity sometimes in a way with regards to career choices, and it works well for some people, and for some it may not work. It just pushes towards the brink of just devastating consequences. And I think things are changing as in, when there's more awareness, and that, you don't have to particularly stick to certain professions to be successful. And really, the whole term of being successful does not really
Yes.
only imply to career success or
Hmm.
financial success in a way.
Yeah.
And I was just reading it's about, I believe for me, success is about having the things that money can buy, and the things that money can't buy, like
Hmm.
healthy relationships and a healthy body. I think this is something that we all can strive towards. But that's right. It's about having that balance of not people pleasing, but making sure that we are going towards the values that we prioritize in our life. That's important. And
And I think it goes towards
mm,
building that authentic life. I mean,
mm.
how are you coaching people that they might be able to do that?
Yeah. So my coaching usually, I mean, because it's a lot of neuroscience backed coaching, and especially all of us now at this time when we have information, when we are overloaded with so much of information. I mean, with social media, with the internet,
Yeah.
we have so much access to books, to resources that we probably didn't have a few decades ago. And I think it's important to sometimes just quieten down the noise from the outside to go within. And first, I think it's about clearing a lot of like just when we clean our house, it's about first taking the garbage out, taking out the things that we're not using anymore. So things like working on our hidden fears, our hidden
Mhm.
worries, our anxiety. Could be a lot of conditioning from our past when we were kids. It's about addressing those issues,
Mhm.
and that's usually step one, about removing a lot of negativity and our baggage associated with our life. And step two is about accepting ourselves just the way we are. It doesn't, our productivity doesn't define us. Numbers don't define us, whether it is the numbers in our bank account or the hours that we're working, wherever we're working at the office. So it's not numbers that define us, and to actually start loving ourselves the way we are,
Mm.
including our physical bodies. I feel that, there's so much of talk about definitely the mind, but
Yeah.
but but the physical body as well. It doesn't Sickness is not the only time when we need to pay attention to our health.
Mm.
Just to be aware of our physical body, and the ability of our bodies is just amazing. And the third step then is about building confidence and courage. Like you
Mm.
briefly said, Victoria, about having that growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset.
Mm.
Because I see this happen a lot, that, when all of your listeners as well, and all of us even, when the main aim of what we see in personal development need not, and I think it's somewhat a bit false to chase ease of life. Even it
Yeah.
is important that we chase growth, and that is the point of life. And to see an obstacle as a challenge rather than a threat. Whether the student, whether it's the student, and if it's the exam that they're preparing for. And when we see an obstacle as a challenge rather than a threat, there's so many physiological changes that happen in our body, in that this adrenaline, which is a good thing, because we have that chemical which helps us focus, which helps our pupils dilate, which helps us really
Mhm.
concentrate on that task. But it is also to note that, our vessels actually dilate, our vessels actually relax when we see our obstacle as a challenge rather than a threat. Instead of seeing the exam as like a be all and end all of life. Like you said, failure need not is not the last thing in life. It just means that it's
Mhm.
a learning lesson, and that, even if the grades are not as good, then there's always something that we learn. So it's a challenge that we need to see, whether it's the exam, whether it's a presentation, whether it is going out on a date for the first time with an unknown person. So it's all to see a new sort of an opportunity as a challenge rather than a struggle. And the body itself has a lot of physiological changes when we rewire ourselves in that way. So
Mhm.
basically, these are three steps that I take my clients through, and working on rewiring our subconscious beliefs in thinking of all of this in a positive way.
Yeah, and keeping that positive mindset with each challenge is the unknown, and that's where a lot of fear comes in. Is I don't know, is that going to be better or worse than I have now?
That's
And
right.
reacting to that. But I know a lot of the projects that I was on that I had no idea what was, they were brand new, never seen technology and things, and so you didn't know, and it was exciting. It's scary and exciting because you knew, though, going in, that we were going to try it and tweak it and try it and tweak it.
Yeah.
Don't want to say fail, but yeah, basically, we tried it, it didn't work. Let's do something different. And that was
Beautiful.
exciting to see that. It's like, oh my gosh, we're discovering something new. And I think that's in life. Whenever you start a new job, it's going to be a learning experience. You're going to learn new people, and sure, it's going to be scary, and it's going to have times where you're not going to be at your very best the first week, the first month, maybe the first year. But if you just keep your mind open, you will get better. And all of a sudden, it's you who people are coming to asking for advice or help, as opposed to you being that person. You just have to be consistent, persistent, and give it time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You put it across so well. That's right. I mean, time itself makes things better. Time and wanting to make things better with self-development absolutely makes things better. Yes.
So when we're talking about the being authentic too, there are times when our motivation may be lacking. So give us some tips to get that lasting motivation, that, that ability to just draw inside and just know, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Oh, that's a good one, and that's a powerful one, isn't it? Because for all of us, motivation is something that we need to work on almost every day,
Every day.
which is, yeah, because when I wake up in the morning, or I've seen that happen to a lot of people as well. We don't know where we are. The last thing that we know is, what do I want to do today? And, very, very like a zombie, right? But that's when you get up in the morning after doing the morning chores, brush and all of that. I look at my board and see what is I have my three main mission for the year written down, that we need to remind ourselves constantly. For me, it's about health, it's about my life mission, it's about deepening my social relationships. So it's important that we remind ourselves every
Mm.
day. It doesn't mean that we remind ourselves about it only when we listen to an amazing podcast like you have, or when we read a book. It's about reminding ourselves whether we like it or not every day in the morning. It's sort of an essential habit, even if I could tell. So remind yourself about what is your main mission for this month, for this year, or for the life. What are your three main priorities that you want to get better? And even just verbally iterating that, you know, just telling yourself that out loud, that, for me, it's about working out 5 days a week. In the morning, for me, I'm a morning workout person.
Me
So
too.
yeah, yeah. So I tell myself that, oh, I'm going to work out 5 days a week this week. And this is the year that I get the most strongest, the most fittest, and this is the time, and that's when I move to the next, and I talk about my life, and I talk to myself about my life mission, and about my career, and what is the next thing coming up, and how well I'm going to train myself to do this. And the next is about my social relationships, and how I want to deepen and widen my social network. So just these, whatever it could be that your wonderful listeners are going through. All of us have different priorities, and to motivate ourselves every day by listening, and by first of all looking at the goal, and telling ourselves that, this is the most important thing in my life right now. Telling it to us, talking to ourselves about it for maybe just 5 minutes in the day. That gives such a big boost to our day, that improves the quality of our action through that day, so that we can filter out all the things that we don't need to do, right? Because we only have those precious 12 to 16 hours of waking hours in the day. And it's about doing the tasks that actually move the needle.
Yeah.
It's not about how much of things that we can get done in the day, but what are the main tasks that can actually move the needle towards our goals. So this
Mm.
is such an important strategy that has worked so well for me and for my clients. Yeah.
So for all of our overachievers out there, how would you advise they avoid the burnout that you felt?
Oh, yeah. What really matters, I think, the most is what life has taught me and continues to teach me, is to be reflective of our time and our energy. It's not about how much hours you put in at work or towards whatever task. It's about the quality of the work
Mm.
that you put in. So even if it is an hour of work, or even 10 minutes towards the goal that you want to achieve, to be reflective about it at the end of the day. Just take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before bed, and see if you have have put in the effort towards the tasks that are actually important to you. And this makes us reflect if we are actually thinking about things in the right way, and not doing things just because they were on your calendar. And
Mm.
at the end of the day is a nice time, because when we actually are winding down, and when we are calm and relaxed, just taking that 10, 15 minutes of time to write it down, to say, you know what? from 8 to 5, I was at work, and these are the things that I really enjoyed at work. These are the things that I didn't like at work, that I think I could have done better. And in the evening, what did I do? Did I waste too much time watching television, watching Netflix? Is there something else that I could have done? Maybe read a book instead. So, these are the things that actually make us question about, okay, what do I need to eliminate in our life and what do I need to do more of? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I not getting enough sleep? Just to question ourselves and actually ask what did the two most important questions are, that what did I do well today? And the second question is, what would I do differently tomorrow?
Mm.
I think these two important questions, not about what I did badly, what I didn't do today. It's about what would I do differently tomorrow? So
Mhm.
these two questions have been a big life changer to a lot of my clients about what did I do well today and what would I do differently tomorrow. And this makes us reflect on where our life is going and making that 1% change every day, looking and then looking back and seeing, wow, it actually is I'm actually doing pretty well. So being reflective at the end of the day is something that I would highly encourage all our overachieving listeners to
Yeah.
avoid.
And I would think too that when you're having that reflection, you're not reflecting on what you think your boss, your
Mhm.
friends, your spouse thinks about that, but what do you
Yeah.
personally, how are you answering those questions? Because to be authentic, it's really you're pleasing yourself, right?
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a very good that's a wonderful way of putting it. Like, authenticity is when you use your own values as a lighthouse rather than social
Mm.
conditioning or a familiar conditioning as the lighthouse towards where you want to go. Yeah.
Oh, so true. Well, time has flown by. It's been such a great conversation that we had today. And I hope that the audience has enjoyed this as much as I have. If you have and you want to connect with Dr. Sue, I'm going to share a slide as I always do. If you're just listening and you don't have the paper and pencil to write this down, you can get everything on my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling, and please do subscribe, as well as my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. All right, so the website is Dr. Supraja, I'll get it right, Dr. Supraja Suresh, and that .com, sorry. And Instagram is dr.supraja.suresh, Suresh. I can't even spell today. It's end of the evening for me, y'all. So if you could just check out those two locations, Dr. Sue is going to tell you about an ebook that she has, as well as things that you can find on her website, as well as how often she puts a lot of stuff out on Instagram. You need to check that out. Lots of things that are quick to give you some thoughts, start you thinking about how are you going to become that authentic person. So, Dr. Suj, it's all yours.
Thanks, Victoria. That's right. Instagram is where I share a lot of life hacks, a lot of insights and strategies on how you can improve your life, how to be more insightful, and what strategies that you can use, very actionable steps on what you can
Mm.
use to improve your life. But I would love to give you this freebie. It's a very it's a fantastic ebook called Get More Time for all you high achievers. When we feel that there is lack of time, it's all about energy management rather than time management. And I would
Oh,
love
good.
to share to share with you tips about how to manage your energy more sustainably so that you can do all the needle moving activities in your life. If you go to the link that Victoria has very kindly put in, or you can even go to my website where you can get this free PDF. And it's a quick, powerful PDF that'll teach you strategies about how to get more energy throughout your day. And you can also go to my website where you can see what services I offer. I offer one-to-one coaching and group coaching to help improve your life. But thank you for watching this episode today.
Dr. Sue, it's just been so enjoyable. You gave really awesome advice, and thank you for sharing your story. It was very impactful. I'm sure that the audience had some time to reflect maybe on their own lives and seeing some maybe similarities, and therefore will want to reach out to you and see how you can help them. But as I said, if you just want something real quick, check out her Instagram. If you love it, make sure you like it and you tell her what you liked about it. Make those comments. Thank you so much for being an awesome guest.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for having me.
As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.